I'm Deborah Freeman, and you may have figured it out. I teach theater, and I have directed theater productions and musicals for many, many years. I've kind of eased out of that role now in the last few years, but I certainly enjoy teaching Introduction to Theater through SCC still. Um, the course is, again, is 3 credit hours. It satisfies, sometimes it satisfies a humanities requirement. It will definitely satisfy an elective or an ACE requirement for a student. It's a look at what all goes into creating a theater production. It's astounding to me because I kind of grew up performing and doing theater, that most people have no idea what goes into the thing that they see up on the stage if they actually ever go see a live theater production, and people are pretty impressed. And my motto, my theme is all the way through the semester that there's a place for everyone in the theater production, because it's kind of like the body of Christ. You know, you can't all be the head, you can't all be the feet. In order to put together a production, you need people that have skills and sensibilities and talents in all different areas. So seeing the actors on the platform is just a very small part of the overall production and what's going on. So it's really eye opening, and hopefully it's enjoyable to be able to track through the different elements of theater. We start with the audience. What does it mean to be a critic? What are we looking for? We go into writing the script. You know, theater is a story, and theater is about the human condition, human need. And I kind of like to point out whenever I possibly can what's God's message in this, or what do we learn about people in this, whether it's this working as a team, or as a designer, or in construction, or this in terms of understanding the script. What's the playwright trying to say? Is it legit? You know, or what are you gaining from this? Can you think critically through this script? I More and more, I just feel like it's so important to teach young people how to think critically and not just sit and take in information. Um, that's not happening as much as we would like it to happen, for people to actually ask questions and look for symbolism and deeper meaning, and how do characters interact. So there's all kinds of possibilities to learn different layers of life lessons or life skills, or understanding, empathizing about people, different characters, seeing how characters are interacting with each other. What can I learn from this? Or that's really true. So I enjoy that they're going to read 5 different plays, representative of walking through history in the theater. We start out with a modern drama, and then, because that's easier to try to grasp, and then we kick back to Greek theater, and we read Oedipus the King. Although I love Antigone, I might have to change that one of these years. But I kind of like to take Oedipus the King and blast through that myth that it's all about Freudian philosophy and psychology. It's not. So I like to pull that out also. But that's the foundation then for Western theater. And then we move through history through the semester. So they're reading plays, they're understanding. Hopefully, we get into talking about those plays, and at the same time understanding how is theater changing due to cultural changes, and yet what stays the same. So we come up to the modern times by the end of the semester. The students are they're not writing big papers, but I do like them to do a final project at the end of the course, which hopefully is creative. That's the whole idea, is be creative, something about theater. I'm kind of disappointed when somebody does a research paper, although that may be their thing, and it takes all kinds. There's a place for all of us: the techie, the makeup artist, the costumer, the designer, me, the director. We try to do hands-on activities if we're in the classroom together and I'm able to be there. I was disappointed. We offered this last spring, and we were just really cooking and rolling along, and we did the kids did some scenes, some monologues, we did some movement and blocking, and then bam, we had to go online. So I couldn't bring in my makeup kits and examples of scenery models, that sort of stuff. But we still, it really uh, my memory of that particular class, the link students, is that everyone was interested and involved in participating and contributing to whatever we were discussing and learning. If someone never hopes to be an actor ever in their whole life, when we get to the technical theater section, they may light up. Theater now, it's very technical. Sound students, if they have helped in their churches with the sound and the sound system, they grab that part of the study of how do you put a show on. They really grab into that, and they could do a final project on that if they wanted to. The other thing that they've been required to do is to go to see a live production. um, that went south last spring also. So I had to figure out, well, how is that going to happen? Because it doesn't make sense to study theater and not see theater. That's the whole point of it. And so it was really interesting. It was fun for me to realize that many professional organizations were putting their productions online, recordings of live productions. And typically you'd have to pay a lot of money for a subscription to be able to see those. So that was great. Those were available. And so some of that is still happening. Shakespeare, the Royal Shakespeare Company in England, makes some of their productions available. And that's amazing. That's awesome, in my humble opinion. As well as there are a few productions going on around Lincoln, carefully so. For example, this weekend, the Playhouse has done Almost, Maine. And that's a sweet show. That's a really sweet show. So the students that I have now, I tried to recommend that they go see that, because the requirement would be go see a show, has to be a play or a musical, can't be a concert, can't be a Blue Man Group, can't be a ballet, although those are great, go see them, but you can't use them for your play review assignment. And that's what fulfills that requirement. To take the course, the student needs to purchase an access code, which gives them then an online textbook. But what's important is that it gives them the assignments and interactive learning assignments and quizzes that I have set up that they do on their own time, by a certain deadline. Um, McGraw-Hill has set up an outstanding learning system where every student gets 100% on that assignment, but not until they've answered all the questions that come to them but from the chapter correctly. And so they're kind of led back into the chapter reading and really walking through the material that's in each chapter. And so I really appreciate that. So we're not going totally online and free curriculum at this point for this particular course. It's just so valuable to be able to see the pictures and do the activities that we're going to stick with that for a while. So that access code is available through Southeast Community College bookstore, but also, you know, everybody not listening. Okay. Yeah, you can get them on Amazon, or it's not something you can rent and then return. You can't do that. Now, once you get the code, then you have an opportunity to get a print copy for $15. So McGraw-Hill does that directly, but you bought the code first. And that's not a resale item either, I don't believe. So a person can make it through with just the access code. But to take the course, I rely heavily on students learning how to manipulate and manage the internet, Canvas, McGraw-Hill, think about what they're studying and learning, and being able, let's talk and share ideas and discuss and learn and grow in that way. So the first probably couple of classes we spend just navigating through the technical, where is this? How do I find out my assignments? How do I submit my assignments? What's the URL? Just the mechanics. So once students get the hang of it, then we're up and running, and we're having a good time, hopefully.